The second type of entering data to SPSS method is importing from Excel. So for demonstration purpose, we'll give you a Excel data file to work with. You could download the Excel data file from this shortened online link. Bear in mind that it is case sensitive, so you need to enter this link exactly as it is. Enter the link to your Internet Explorer or Chrome and click enter. You should be directed to a download address. Right, so after you've downloaded the Excel data file, you could have a quick look at the Excel. This is our data set. I just quickly show you that we've got 30 observations in total, and we've got sex, age, education, smoke. It's something to do with smoke. Life set, self-est, and HGP3. Of course, you could guess that HGP3 is something to do with age, but not entirely sure what GP3 stands for. Self-est, not sure what it is. So you can see that although we've got variable names, but we're not entirely sure what these variable names indicate for. Of course, I know this. It's just when you download the data set, you need to understand what you're working with. And to understand these variables in more details, we actually have the index file, Excel file in this new spreadsheet. So in this new spreadsheet, we have ID, label, values, sex, one male, two female. So you could instantly see that each row represent a different variable. And this label is explaining what these variables really are, and values explains what these categories, if you like, stand for. So educa, it's actually highest education completed. So 1 stands for primary, 2 is secondary, 3 is high school, 4 is additional, 5 is undergraduate, and 6 is postgraduate. So when we come back to the actual data, you could see that 4, okay, now I know that 4 is actually additional to high school. 5 is actually undergraduate, so it got a meaning behind all these numbers instead of just the numbers. For the smoke, it's actually whether the individual is a smoker or not. Life set is the total life satisfaction, so it's apparently is a score that range between, I don't know, 1 to 50, 1 to 70 or something. And as self-est is actually total self-esteem, HGP3 is age 3 groups. So the first group is actually 18 to 29. Second group is 30 to 44. Third group is 45 years old and plus. So now you know that what HGP3 stand for. It's a categorized age variable. Now we want to analyze this or work with this data set in SPSS. You might think, okay, I'm going to work with this data set in SPSS. So how about I just copy and paste everything to SPSS? Well, tell you what, it does work. It does work. Okay, so for example, if I copy this whole area, that's Control C, This is of course a Excel spreadsheet. Then just Control V. Let's give it a second. Okay, now we actually copy and pasted the variables into SPSS, as you can see. The problem is, do you remember that in the last video we said in the white cells, there shouldn't be any string variables unless it's for store purpose. So this first row here, we've got string variables, and having these string variables will make all of the data not analyzable in SPSS because we've got one string variable for each of the data. So the first thing you need to do if you copy and pasted your data set to SPSS is to get rid of, I'm just right clicking on the row number, get rid of the first row. But then you realize that you're missing all these variable names. So I want this one to be ID, I want this one to be sex, I want third one to be age, but at the moment it's all named as var 00001234, etc. So how can I actually change this? Okay, you won't be able to change it in this data view. However, you have something called a variable view down at the lower left-hand corner of SPSS software. Okay, if you click on that, and this acts exactly like what we've got in the index. Okay, so this is the place where you tell SPSS what these things are. And now you could actually change this. So the first one is actually ID, and the whole row is about ID. Okay, you could give it a type. At the moment, it's been categorized as string. That's because we used to have a string variable. Remember that we used to have these names. Although we deleted the names, but it's still categorized as string. If it's string, SPSS won't be able to analyze it. So now I just change it to numeric. Of course, I need to change all these to numeric, do all the changes to the rest of the data set. And the second one is sex information. Leave the width as it is. Decimal place, I'm having integers all through, so I'm not worried too much about the decimal place. Label is where you tell yourself what it is. So ID is just ID, and sex is the gender information, for example. You could basically type phrases or sentences that remind you of what this is really is. So age, educ. So this is the highest education achieved or completed. And values, it's very important, this values one. So values is where you tell SPSS what these categories are, okay? So for example, for sex, the gender information, 1 stands for male, 2 stands for female. So here you need to click on it, and there's a blue square box. Click on the square box. Value 1 is male, and click on add, and value 2 is female. Click on add and click OK. Now you've completed the value configuration. To do this, you are telling SPSS that 1 stands for male and 2 stands for female, because it won't make sense if you say that this person's gender is 1 or this person's gender is 2. You need to actually tell SPSS that 1 and 2 stand for what. So you need to do all these to the rest of the variables. But again, we're not promoting the idea of copy and paste actually when you have a data set in Excel. Instead, we ask you to import it to SPSS, not to copy and paste, but import to SPSS, which we'll talk about in the next video.